When Maria Elena Bergoglio speaks, the world listens differently. Not because she shouts, not because she demands attention, but because her voice carries the weight of truth, of loss, of quiet love, and of a life spent in the background of greatness. She never wanted fame, never asked to be known, But when she recently spoke about Cardinal Luis Tagle, her words felt like a gentle earthquake, soft on the surface, but shaking something deep inside. To many people, Cardinal Tagle is just another possible successor to the papacy. A name among many. A smiling face often compared to Pope Francis himself. They call him the Asian Francis, the smiling theologian, a bridge between cultures. But to Maria Elena, he is something more, something familiar, something important. And it's not because he is famous or powerful. It's because he reminds her of her brother, of Jorge Mario Bergoglio, not the Pope, but the boy who used to make her laugh, who taught her strength through silence, and who turned pain into purpose. Maria Elena knows what it means to grow, up in simplicity. She was raised in a small home in Buenos Aires. Her father worked on the railways. Her mother held the family together with prayer and quiet discipline. They didn't have money, but they had dignity. And in that world, love wasn't said, it was shown. Jorge, her eldest brother, was always the strong one. Not strong with muscles or anger, but with peace and purpose. When their father died, Jorge stepped in. He became her second father, her friend, and her guide. He taught her to keep dancing when sadness filled the room, and to find faith not in churches, but in people. So when Jorge left for Rome, Maria Elena lost something. And when he became Pope, she didn't celebrate like the rest of the world. She cried. Not because she was sad for the church, but because she knew the cost. It was selfish, she admitted, but I was afraid I was losing my brother to the world. And in a way she did. Their phone calls never stopped, but the world now knew him as Francis. To her he would always be Jorge. She never went to his inauguration. He asked her not to, and she respected that. Instead of using the money for travel, she gave it to charity. That's Maria Elena. Silent acts, deep impact. She never chased interviews, never wrote a book, never stood in front of cameras. But today, she speaks. Because today, something is happening in the church that reminds her of her brother again. Cardinal Tagle is not like the others. He is joyful but not shallow. He is humble but not weak. He sings instead of shouting. He laughs from the belly and prays from the bones. His theology is not in thick books. It's in the slums, the prisons, the places where hope is nearly gone. And when he speaks, he does. Not preach down to the poor. He sits beside them. He listens. He learns. And when he acts, it's not for applause. It's to bring warmth into cold places. This is the man Maria Elena sees. This is the man who reminds her of Jorge. Not the Pope, but the man. The boy who danced, who teased her, who scrubbed the floors of their little home and carried groceries when their mother was tired. Cardinal Tagle carries that same spirit, a presence that doesn't command the room but fills it quietly. A voice that doesn't boom but stays with you long after the words fade. Maria Elena is not a theologian. She's not a cardinal. She's not a political figure in the Vatican. But she knows what real leadership looks like. She saw it in her parents. She lived it beside her brother. And now she sees it again in Tagle. That's why she spoke. Not to promote a name, not to push a plan, but to say something that her heart knows to be true. That maybe, just maybe, the church needs someone who leads not with power, but with presence. And when she speaks, it's never rehearsed. There are no polished quotes, no fancy speeches. Her words are plain, but they carry weight. Because she has lived through pain and joy. She has lost her brothers, Alberto, Oscar, and even Jorge now. But she never stopped loving, never stopped believing, and never stopped holding the roof up for those around her. She is the one who stayed while others left, the one who kept smiling when the light went out. In 2015, she fell ill. Everyone thought she would finally break. But Maria Elena does not crumble. She laughed through her sickness, laughed with her children, laughed with her memories. And that laughter wasn't a mask, it was a medicine. Even in death, she once said, Love doesn't leave us. That one sentence says everything about her. Her grief is not bitter, it's alive. It walks with her, not behind her. She honors her past, but she doesn't worship it. She uses it to walk forward. Her daughter Cristina is an artist in Madrid. Her son Jose speaks rarely, but when he does, his words are soaked in humility, just like his mother, just like his uncle. This is a family that doesn't chase glory. They chase meaning, and that meaning is found in simple things. A smile, a shared meal, a word of comfort when there's nothing left to say. Now the church finds itself at a crossroads. Pope Francis is gone. The conclave is near. The Sistine Chapel is preparing for another gathering of the world's most powerful religious leaders. 135 cardinals, 80% of them appointed by Francis. And yet, there's no guarantee that the next pope will follow in his path. Francis didn't choose copies of himself. He chose men he believed could hear the cry of the world and respond with truth, and among those names one stands out: Tagle. Maria Elena doesn't speak of him like a campaign manager. She speaks of him like someone who recognizes a kindred soul. She knows what her brother saw in him. She knows the private conversations, the honest thoughts, the quiet hopes. And now, as the world wonders who will lead the church into its next chapter, her voice matters, because she's not speaking from politics, she's speaking from experience, from heart, from loss, from love. She reminds us that every pope comes from a family. Every leader had someone who taught them kindness, who showed them how to suffer without losing grace. She was that for Jorge. She is that for us now. She's not asking us to vote. She's asking us to see, to look beyond titles and think about presence. Who will sit with the poor, who will cry with the broken, who will bring joy back to the people, not just through words, but through the way they live. In Cardinal Tagle, she sees that man, and so do many others. Because he doesn't just speak of mercy, he lives it. He doesn't just write about service, he serves. And if this is the man who follows Francis, then maybe the church will continue to be what Francis always wanted: a field hospital, not a palace. A place for healing, not just doctrine. Maria Elena is not the future of the church. She is its soul, the quiet part, the part that holds everything up without ever being seen. And now, as we prepare for change, we should listen to her. Not because she is famous, but because she knows what real greatness looks like. She lived beside it. She helped build it. And if her brother taught the church how to listen again, maybe, just maybe, it's because he learned it first from her.